You know, I think about us, the three of us, what we could be. I think about it all the time.
Please. It's terrible.
No, it's not. I know June. She's my friend. I care about her. How's your day going? You look pretty.
Thanks. I wore it just for you. Our father's a driver named Nick. He helped me to survive. Yes, you can, because I can't lose you.
I'm not gonna let anything happen to you.
What about you?
Your girlfriend is a badass.
Welcome to Above the Garage, a Nick and June, the Handmaid's Tale podcast. Hi, friends. Welcome to the spoiler-free analysis of Season 1, Episode 9, which is entitled The Bridge. Let's do our round of introductions.
Hi, I'm Megan.
Hi, I'm Claudia.
Hi, I'm Julia.
Hi, I'm Scarlett.
Hi, I'm Marigold.
And I'm Kate. So this episode starts out with the handmaids filing. Are they filing into the Putnam house to watch it, or are they always outside? They're just lined up waiting for her. Mm-hmm. All right, so we go into the house and they are performing one of Gilead's many ceremonies. This one is the sending off of the handmaid. And you guys, we don't know how old the baby was at this point.
A few months. You are mothers. You know, like how long they are breastfed until.
That's an elective term.
I'm surprised that she weaned so early. The baby looked like about 6 months old to me. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of mothers, I would say, try to breastfeed through like their first year.
Right.
Yeah, for health reasons. But I think I can understand because 6 months makes sense because that's when like small children start to eat other food as well.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I think that in Gilead they'd kind of be torn between like, okay, they should breastfeed for a year because we're trying to keep children, healthy. But at the same time, the wives hate the handmaids, right? So there's this power battle of I just want to get her out of my house.
Exactly. Yeah. They want her out as soon as possible.
Yeah.
But I thought the baby looked older than it should be because my thought was that they want the handmaid back for another round as soon as possible.
That's true.
So it's just more likely like 2 or 3 months. And because she told how Angela is bottle fed.
Yeah.
And I think it wasn't that much time between her giving birth and June and Nick starting to have their affair.
Oh, maybe they only made her wait 6 weeks, till she was medically sound to reproduce.
Maybe.
Again. Oh,
that's
horrifying,
right?
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, they sent her off to a new posting right away.
Immediately.
It's
that's really sad. I thought that the baby that they cast looked really a lot like Maddie. So I was like, oh, good job with the casting of that baby.
I didn't notice.
So
I love that you looked at this.
I don't know. She just looked a lot like Janine.
Did she have one eye?
No. That's not genetic.
Okay.
All right, so she's, I don't know, something less than a year we can all agree on.
Mm-hmm.
And and then Janine's refusing to give them the baby until Warren makes eye contact with her and promises her that we'll take care of her. And you can tell that they have some sort of more intimate relationship just through this interaction, in that she probably thinks he means like Warren and Janine, not Warren and Naomi.
Yeah.
And Ever Carradine is amazing at looking like, she hates Janine and she wants her out of the house. You can tell the entire time. And then she goes outside and they go through the little handmaid. I don't know what that setup's called, like a wedding. And June can tell that something's off with Janine. And she says that to Aunt Lydia and she's like, she's stronger than you think. I think that June knows her better.
That's when I really noticed the parent-child dynamic between Aunt Lydia and Janine. Because she comes out just so childlike and everything's gonna be okay. And Aunt Lydia is like, oh, look at my good girl coming out. I've trained you so well. And I'm like, oh, it's just like a mother and a daughter. And it was just so evident then. I'm like, oh my goodness, she has regressed childlike state through so much abuse. Oh, poor thing.
Yeah, that's true. And it's really sad.
Did you hear Aunt Lydia said honey to her right at the beginning in the house still? And I was like,
mom
whoa.
and daughter. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
kind of like at the end of the scene when they're leaving and June is asking around about Mayday. You know, she's left alone. All the handmaids walk forward and she stays standing back. I thought it was like a nice parallel to, you know, the handmaids leaving her behind when she wants to move forward with the Mayday situation.
Good observation.
I also in my notes I literally wrote the Putnam's house is fancy AF.
Yeah, right. It's so nice.
It is.
The water.
Yes.
And I know that we kind of investigated that Fred is actually a higher ranking commander than Warren, but just based off of their houses, I was like, oh,
It's
makes
so
no
hard to
sense.
understand. Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe it has to do with location. Maybe the Waterford house is like that typical, like, oh, it's in a better
to the city.
location.
Walk to
We're
the
paying
bars and
for
restaurants.
location. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's walkable. The walkability.
Yeah.
What I noticed of the house was the paintings in the wall. They're all museum paintings. I really tried to figure out which paintings they were, but I couldn't get a clear picture of the scene to kind of figure out. But I'm assuming they're pictures from Boston museums. I mean, I went through Boston museums, but they look like impressionist and maybe romanticism paintings, kind of more or less.
Right.
But I couldn't figure out which they were.
I don't know how many castles you were, but I've been to France for vacation, and we did the route at the Loire. This is the biggest river in France, by the way. So it's like, so every kind of every town has its own castle, and it reminded me like one of those rooms where like this 4-meter high walls kind of were stuck with just painting. Yeah, and I was like, what the fuck? Living in a castle, or is this just still a house?
I would still like someone to explain to me the way that works, because man, the Waterford house sucks. It's so depressing.
Like the Addams family.
Yeah, it's just
kind of creepy.
Dark and
the paint's chipping. Like,
they said it should look like their insides.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like,
but also, like, Warren and Naomi are not like.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Why the lighthouse? I mean, come on. And even
that is the opposite of Mrs. Putnam. She looks miserable and like she hates life all the time. So the house does not represent her at all.
I don't know why they said that. The baby notices that they are no good people, because as soon as it was transferred to Naomi, it started to cry and didn't stop the whole time.
She's smart. She's like, don't leave me here.
And their interactions too, Warren and Naomi, they were so forced. Like, it didn't feel like a parental relationship to me.
No. Naomi had to bow to Janine before she left, and she was like, "Do I really have to do this?" This was a bit funny, but
Then Alma is talking, or then June goes to Alma to say she wants to help. She wants to be part of Mayday, and Alma's like, I don't have any idea what you're talking about.
Nick's out of the picture for her at the moment because they just split up. They had their breakup. Yeah.
She's feeling very vengeful.
Yeah, and June immediately goes forward and tries to get some rebellious stuff.
Yes.
Immediately, like Nick is away,
taking out her anger and frustration.
Come on, give me something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then they switch to Janine's new house, and Aunt Lydia says if they obey and serve him, they shall spend their days in prosperity, and gestures to the new house, which, by the way, is not as nice as the Putnams, but whatever. And she is now off Daniel, and I just think it's so messed up to change these girls' names constantly, on top of everything else that they go through. Like, it angers me that you're now off Daniel.
I noticed in this scene too, I think it was Ginger mentioned this a couple episodes ago about like the background noise. When they were at the Putnam's house, there was birds chirping. It's supposed to be like happy. And then when they went to Janine's new posting, there was dogs barking, which typically in the past has been like a sign of danger or trouble.
Yeah. So, ever since she said that, I cannot tell you how many dogs I hear barking in this show.
I know,
because it's always danger. So and she says, and Janine says they live really far, and Lydia's like, from what? And she covers and says, from everything. But clearly she wants to go back to Charlotte and Warren. And she says, go to them and be blessed. Go like an open flower. Like, yeah, it's so gross. And Janine had like, didn't she get excited about being like a flower?
In the early episodes.
4, I think.
Yeah.
And they're training.
When they're training,
Yeah.
So she knows how to handle Janine, but Aunt Lydia does look sad as Janine's like walking up the walkway into her new house. And then they flash over to Mrs. Putnam and Serena. So Naomi and Serena going on a walk with the baby. And somebody stops to look in the carriage and the guardian like shoos her away. And Naomi says, she just wanted to look. And Serena says, well, you can't be too careful. And then I enjoyed Naomi talking about Janine. Who needs that horrid girl that's like living with a feral cat? I feel like living with Janine might be a little bit like living with a feral cat. And then
a lovable feral cat.
Very. I love her.
Yeah.
And I'd be up for it, but it would be keep you on your toes. And then Naomi says to Serena, you should be thankful for such an obedient handmaid. And I like look on Serena's face.
Obedient handmaid.
It's like, no.
You don't know June very well.
When the Econo woman approached them, it reminded me of, I think it was episode 2 in the hospital when that woman tried to steal Hannah out of the hospital. So it made me like think, oh, do people still try to like steal babies in Gilead from the wives? So
I thought it was a classism thing. Like, ew, don't be talking. You're an Econo person. These are the upper echelon. Like, shoo, you flee. Like, ew.
Yeah.
Like, you're an Econo person. You're beneath us. We don't speak to you. You don't come up to the wives and touch their babies with your dirty Econo fingers. That's how I took it.
Yeah, I actually wondered too. I wondered why they had 2 guardians following them. It seems like a lot. It seems like overkill. And then I was like, well, maybe it's the baby. But I agree that I think that attitude with the Econo wife was all, we're better than you. Don't touch, don't dirty our baby. But yeah, I don't know. I guess you couldn't really get away with stealing a baby very well in Gilead.
No.
I don't know.
No.
I don't know. It just like,
why do you have 2 guardians following?
Made me think of that.
Yeah.
I could see them needing guardians just for that case, but I don't think what was she gonna do? Snatch a baby and go running, like carry it like a football, and But they probably need more protection when they have the babies because they're the commodity, and they want to keep it safe. Yeah.
And then they go to back to June walking with the new Offglen. She says, the new Offglen says, "Oh, Warren's so lucky. I mean, of Daniel." And June like rolls her eyes and says, yeah, she's so lucky. But then Alma grabs her at the butcher shop. Because when she initially said, I don't know what you're talking about Mayday. Like, I don't know. She sounded kind of convincing to me because she had that Alma attitude about her. But then she managed to grab her and walk her in the butcher shop. I love how there's like guardians everywhere walking with every other handmaid, but they managed to sneak her on the side.
I thought that they were outside of Soul Scrolls.
Oh, you're probably right.
I think they were.
I didn't know what the store was.
It's fine.
Yeah, so I'm excited that Alma is officially part of Mayday. So she tells her to go back to Jezebel's, which is pretty horrifying first mission. And then I like when she adds, tonight would be good. Okay, that's no big ass.
No biggie.
Yeah. But hey, she makes it happen.
June looks like she's horrified because she knows what that means for her if she goes back with Fred.
Yeah.
There.
Especially if
I don't
she
know
asks
how.
For it.
Yeah, I don't know how much Alma knows what goes on
yeah.
in there. If she was,
and I think
there
she was
already.
maybe worried she couldn't manipulate him enough. Like she was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm winging it because it was so sudden.
Yeah,
she had to make this move." And so she's just, "Hi, Fred," in her little voice. Like, I just had so much fun. I would.
I know,
again.
it's so
And Fred's all eating it up because it's like, of course you would love to be with me again. Let's do it. Easy manipulation there.
And she set it up
I think
nicely.
He kind of had her number, but he didn't care. He was like, I'll take advantage of that.
She started it nicely because she said, oh, I just want to talk to you about something, but it can wait, and walked off because anybody in that situation is going to be like, no, come tell me right now, right? So she played him well, but yeah, I agree. Like her playing him voice is
Fred is easily manipulated, so you don't really have to, play too hard to get him to do what you want because he's gross.
And I think he's okay with being manipulated. I think he kind of had an idea that, she might be wanting to go back for something else there, but he didn't care because he's like, of course she also wants to be with me because I'm so awesome. And can't resist me because he's such a narcissist. I don't know.
He thinks too highly of himself.
Yeah.
The fatal flaw, right? And then, so we're in Fred's office and she manages to successfully manipulate him to go tonight, which is, again, very impressive. And you can see how much it took out of her when she shuts the door and she's back in the hallway. And that, like you said, I don't think she was convinced that she was going to be able to pull it off because she's like physically like affected when she leaves that room.
But she looks really determined after. She was like, at first it's like, okay, the whole scaredness falls off from her. And then she's like, okay, now
on a mission.
We're getting shit done. Yeah,
that's how she walks off. Yeah.
I wanted to circle back for a second to Fred letting her in, because he was like, first he was not so happy that she was there, it seemed. And then he was intrigued, and I thought, what did he expect that would happen? And then I thought back to Emily telling June last time in the second or third episode that maybe he just wants a blowjob. So I thought maybe he hoped for something like that to happen, and that's why she was there. Yeah.
Oh, Fred, you dog.
He was like, a good thing. She was all flirty towards him.
Right. Yeah.
She literally said it's a good thing. So you may have thought that. So then we go into the car, and Nick's, he's driving them again, and he's looking in the rearview mirror, and he's so unhappy. And she is being kind of a bitch.
Vicious.
She's vindictive. Yes. And she does not need to say things like, I guess I'll have to think of a way to thank you. She's just doing that to hurt Nick because she's attempting to break up with her. And it's not very nice, June. Not very nice.
No.
And he's so sad. And then they get in the elevator, and this time he said, when he asked, doesn't she look stunning tonight? Nick literally just doesn't even answer. He just looks pissed off, which just seems kind of ballsy, actually, completely ignoring him. But then he's still, when they're walking away from the elevator, it's like, Commander, this trip was so last minute. We don't know who will be here tonight. I just want you to be careful. And obviously he's talking to June. So,
well, sorry, he says that because he hears June say that she wanted to go to the bar first.
Yes, I skipped that very important part.
And that's kind of like when I did the rewatch, that's when I realized this part, and I was like, wait a minute. She says something about the bar, and then he says that warning, obviously to her, not to Fred. He doesn't give a shit what happens to Fred.
Yeah.
So for me, it was weird because when I saw that scene first, when I watched the show, I was like, he's mad because don't yell at me. He's mad because he's jealous. I know we talk about this, in the other episode. But then when I did the rewatch, I realized, he could be jealous because it's a normal reaction, but this is a lot more than being jealous. And Nick's not a petty guy, he's not going to be like, if he would have been jealous, he would have been like, I don't give a shit, go fuck Fred, fuck you. But that's not Nick. So it gave me the impression that he knew something was going to happen, or that she was there for another reason. Like he realized then and there that she's up to something. And obviously he's going to be more worried. But I do think that deep down, there's that little hint of jealousy, because it's a normal human emotion. It's just not the most important emotion for him right now, obviously.
Right. Yeah. And it's crazy that I skipped over that because it's super important. It's in my notes. I just skipped that part. But yeah, so she says in the elevator, oh, can we go to the bar first like we did last time? And I guess Fred sees through her for once, and he's basically like, no. But Nick, for the first time, like switches his eye contact and like stares at her, trying to figure out, like, and I like that, like, because until now he's thinking, all right, she's just doing this to get back at me. She's just doing this to hurt me. And then all of a sudden you can see in his face, oh shit, like she's here for another reason, And
exactly.
Yeah.
That's good in a way.
Fred caught on to that too, I think.
Yes. Yes.
I think it already started maybe in the car, actually, that Nick was kind of suspicious, because Fred, he openly says that it was June's idea to go back to Jezebel's, which makes no sense at all. And I think like already at that moment, Nick was like, when he heard it, if he heard it, like, it was like, wait, what? something's off
Yeah.
here. And then she's like been super cautious in the elevator, and then obviously, yeah.
I actually thought that he was like really hurt in the car still, because he's like, he looks at her, but it's like he really thinks that she's doing this a bit to hurt him too, because he looks really crushed. And then he does his little head nod that he always does when he is sad. So I really thought it was him just being crushed and not really thinking about what could this be, why is she doing this. And then in the elevator, it's the same thing at first, because Fred is parading her in front of him, and it looks like she was the one that really wanted to go there, and he's still sad and can't look her in the eye. And he does it again. He nods like, okay, yeah, she's too much for me, or something like that. And then she says the thing with the bar. He immediately snaps too. She's not doing this because she wants to hurt me. She's plotting. She's doing something stupid.
Yeah, his radar goes off. All right, she's not just getting at me. She's here for a reason. He knew. Yeah, which is what like what Scarlett said, is that's why he's like, okay, you don't know who's here tonight. Be careful.
Yeah.
Because he's like, June is up to something. He wasn't caring about Fred, I don't think, but like Scarlett said, he's caring about June. So like, be careful.
Listen, there's a lot to be said about his looks in the elevator.
That's true. Again, Matt Mangella has great face acting.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And his head nods, come on, it's like
it's like a sad head nod.
Yeah. I want to cry every time.
Yeah. He did it in the car. Oh, it is. It's so sad. His sad head nods.
Yeah, I think he was sad and worried a lot more than sad, probably. But in this moment, he switches to just being okay. Oh no, she's doing something stupid. Yeah,
she's doing something stupid, but she also wants to piss him off.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, she really wants to piss him off.
Oh yeah. She's like, hey, if I'm at it, I can really push it in his face.
Yeah. It was like that wasn't her objective by going to Jezebel's, but it was, she was glad that she could make Nick jealous or mad.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, look what you're missing. Like, look what you're missing. Now Fred's getting it. Ew. But
it's still funny though, like this quote, this Fred quote of that June's too much to handle for Nick.
Yeah.
Like,
I know, right? He's like, if you only knew, only knew Fred.
Yeah.
I know exactly how to handle her. Fred. And then Fred is like, oh, you can act like you.
Oh my God.
Like, you can get into it. Don't feel like you have to be quiet here. It's like, no, she's just not feeling it, Fred. You're raping her. She doesn't want to be all excited. He's like, you can let loose next time, honey. Ew, no, you're so clueless.
So shitty.
Yeah, but did you see he's like having this strange expression in his face when he's like looking at her while no before he's coming. He's looking at her and she's like pissed off and she doesn't want to do this. So and he looks her in the eyes and he's like, wait a minute, don't you enjoy it? And she starts to fake it because he notices that
she's supposed to fake it,
Yes. Right.
Yeah. That's so gross.
That's like the added level of abuse of this, new thing that he's doing. I mean, it's enough to do the ceremonies, and then to add on to that, now I also want you to pretend like you love it. And anyway.
Yeah, and because you said she has to fake it and stuff, and he says to her, "You are free here." And this was the worst thing ever he could have said.
Yeah, it's like, let loose, enjoy yourself.
You are free.
No,
come
Fred.
on.
But it is like, it's so obnoxious that he would say you're free here when she's more a captive than ever, and now has to pretend she likes it on top of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so after Nick looks so sad, as they walk off, it switches to Serena knitting by the fire, dogs barking as usual, and she's putting her latest whatever crocheted knitted thing in her trunk of baby stuff and, sad, almost crying. And she comes downstairs and Rita catches her looking for wine or liquor. I don't know. And Rita really outs them. I feel like Rita wouldn't have made this mistake, but she says, "Oh, I thought the commander came back hungry." And Serena's like, "Oh, he's in his office, right?"
She's like, "Oops."
Yeah, let me make you some tea.
Just kidding.
Yeah. And then offers instead to give her something more flavorful to settle the soul. And Serena tells her to pour two. And then they're just complaining about Naomi, complaining about her baby, keeping her up and how crazy it is to complain about such a miracle. And Rita says you can lose a child in an instant. And that's when we learn that Rita's son, Matthew, died in the war when he was 19. And Serena throws some Bible shit at her. And Rita says, "Praise be," but clearly does not mean it.
No.
Do we know what side he was fighting for? Does that ever come out?
No,
I got the
always assumed
feeling
the
that
resistance.
I think, okay, so this is what I got from that. It's like Serena's thanking him for his service. So I feel like if he was on the side of Gilead, he was like a lot of the young men and he was forced to be on the side of Gilead. You fight for us or you die.
Yeah.
Or he was the resistance. I don't think he was willing. I don't, Rita seemed like she was like, yeah.
That's
like,
how I felt
F
too.
you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like F you.
Yeah.
So if he was on the side of Gilead, which is what Serena assumes, I think it was probably a comply or die situation for him.
Yeah.
And he died.
I agree.
Do we know how Marthas get to be Marthas? How do they choose who becomes a Martha? And why would Rita be there?
That too.
I feel like she was a single woman. So if you were single, like a single mother, if you're no longer fertile, childbearing years are done. I don't know if they have a cutoff of age. Like, let's say anybody over 40, they're like, we're not going to deal with that.
Yeah.
So then they can go into the Martha. Not that they're sinners, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah, true. But I ask because obviously Nick works for the house and he was quote unquote a member of, the sons of Jacob. So I wonder if maybe, Rita was kind of like Aunt Lydia, kind of like a little bit more conservative. I'm not saying that she was happy with the regimen, but maybe that's why she's there. Or maybe because her son did fight for the side of Gilead, she became a Martha because of it.
Yeah. I assume that Econo women are probably married then, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I kind of doubt she would have become a Martha if she was a normal single mom. Like if she was divorced or just not married when she had her son, because that wouldn't really make sense with the
they would probably send
the
her to the
papyrus whatever thing. So maybe she's like widow too. That her husband died and that's why she was a single.
Yeah, because if she was divorced, they would see it as like a sin,
definitely
right?
not,
Yeah.
no. And also if she had a child out of wedlock, it would be the same.
Sin, right?
Yeah.
Did you see the look that Rita gives Serena when she says, "Oh, she's looking for chamomile tea," and Rita knows exactly what she's looking for and stares at her while she grabs
the tea. Yeah.
That was fun.
Oh my god.
Amanda's
amazing.
Amazing. Yeah.
So then they go to Janine and she's in her new house and it's working a little differently there. They're not bothering with this scripture reading, it seems. And the wife is really into it and like really excited about doing this together with her. But when he comes in and starts, she starts objecting and yelling like, no, like, and then completely freaks out and ends up in like fetal position in the corner saying he's coming for me about Warren. And like you said, Megan, like this could be like literally 6 weeks after she just had a baby and she's being, raped by someone else. And that's insane. It's insane that it wouldn't be a really long time to begin with. But when you said that, I was like, oh, it kind of feels like that almost,
They're breeding machines. That's how they're seen.
Exactly. She's cleared medically now,
that's all that matters, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then right when she says he's coming for me, they switch to Fred having sex with June. And like we were just talking about, like he notices she's not looking happy and she realizes, well, I'm gonna have to fake it or he's, it's gonna cause trouble and I want this over with, so I need to fake it. So she switches her face and that's when we have that whole conversation about you are free and you enjoy that. You should be louder next time and let me know. And it's stupid. And she has to switch back to flirting with him to try to get back to the bar. And she even says then, like, I love the way people treat you. They're so impressed. And maybe it's too much. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think he even caught on with that. He was
Yes.
kind of like, right.
But he still didn't get it. Like, he knows she's manipulating him, but not for the real reason. Because then he says, I know why you brought me here. I know you saw someone you know from before. So he's completely oblivious to why she's there.
Well, first he just says, I know why you came here to meet someone. And she looks like terrified until Moira comes in, because she's like, does he really know? And then he lets Moira in, and he acts so creepy with her. Her name's Ruby. He calls her Ruby here, and says June noticed her last time. And Fred asks, aren't you friends? And June just like spits out, not that kind of friend. And it did remind me of when Luke asks her that, though, in episode 5, the same thing.
Yeah. True.
She managed to laugh it off that time, and this time, like, she was pissed.
And that scene, we also, like Fred says, like, I also know her. So we kind of realize that he's raped, he's raped
carnal
her too.
knowledge of her. Yeah, he knows her.
And he tells her to relax and makes them both thank him, which, is basically she's saying fuck you when she says thank you. And Moira is so mad that she's back here, which is weird because Moira doesn't know that it was June's choice to come back here, right? Like, I think it's strange how she's like, what the fuck are you doing back here? Like, angrily. But
She's so guilty,
I don't think she knows. How could she?
No.
But anyway, she's angry. And then they go to Nick and Beth. And so that's when I kind of missed this, I think, the first time around. Not the next like 47 times around, but I did not notice it the first time. When the scene starts, he's like, did you learn anything? And it's clear that he's asked Beth to go to the bar to ask around what's going on. And Beth's like, no, nothing's going on with the bar. I didn't hear anything. So we definitely know he caught on to the bar thing, and he's latched onto that. Like, that's why she's here. I hadn't noticed it the first time, that he specifically took what she said in the elevator and went to Beth and said, go to the bar, ask what's going on with the bar, because I think she's gonna get in trouble at the bar. But then he makes his entire everything clear to Beth when he asks, have they said anything about Waterford's Handmaid? And she's like, the Handmaid? Sweet on her, aren't you? It's dangerous, my friend.
I love that she uses the word friend in this scene, because the previous scene, she obviously was coming on to Nick, and now she uses the word friend, so that it's a clear like
an acknowledgement.
Yeah, like that romantic or physical relationship is over, and there's just friends now.
And we're still friends. Like, I like their relationship.
But also, like, I mean, I think it was important because it also means that they're on the same level. Like, they always have been on the same level, even because technically Nick's still a man and he's a guardian and even an eye. So he has more power than Beth, like technically. But
Beth knows he's an eye, but Fred doesn't, right?
No, Fred doesn't.
I mean, because he's undercover, right? He's an undercover eye.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I was getting another vibe from when she says a driver poking around, asking questions. It's like she's afraid that he gets on the wall for poking around, but the eyes do that, right? So normally, if this was a bit weird. So either he says the eyes, thank you for his service, because he's doing it for the eyes, like pretending he's doing it for them, or she knows, and the second one was just like just her worrying about him. I don't know.
Or it's just that she knows it's a secret, and to everybody else he is a driver. He can still get in trouble. He can still be put on the wall.
And last
who
time
knows he's an eye, Price? Would Price be like, nobody knows, so he still has to comply. That's like dangerous. He's just a driver.
I just realized that last time nobody was in the kitchen, and now it's full of people, so maybe she was just like not trying to out him.
Going back to what Marigold was saying, in that scene she says, stay here with me for old time's sake. So and then I can make you something else, meaning the pasta and stuff, and then I guess that's when she asks him if he's sweet on the Handmaid. And he laughs, and he kind of deflects the question and starts enjoying his food. So again, they're giving the clear idea that he's trying not to follow on her footsteps, but she's still maybe pushing just a little bit. It's very subtle. But I remember she said it, you know, like, to stay here with me for old time's sake.
I think his expressions during that scene are like adorable though, and different from any other Nick that you see, really.
It's like he's blushing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
exactly.
you can almost see him blushing. Like she's like, "Oh, you're sweet on her," and he's like, you can almost
he looks
you know,
down.
He can't hide it.
No.
it's like his eyelashes are fluttering and he's blushing like, yes.
Did you notice that he speaks to everyone in a different voice, like how he speaks to the commanders in a more authoric or voice, and to Beth, it's a whole different thing than to June.
Yeah, that's true.
I realized that when I watched episode 8, it was really jumping at you that he's like has his own voice for each one he speaks to, because with June is of course extremely different than to anyone other.
I like that. Then we go up to June and Moira in the hotel room again, and Moira's not being the Moira that June remembers, and it's kind of pissing her off. And Moira's telling her, like, don't, you're a spy now, like, don't do anything, like, and June finally is like, I thought you were dead and I still didn't give up like a coward. And she calls her a liar and said, you said we would find Hannah, you promised, you fucking pinky sore. Or don't you remember? Don't let them grind you down. You keep your shit together, you fight. And Moira just says, I was doing all right till I saw you again. And then she leaves. And June is crying so much, like, when this happens. And it's so sad. And then Fred comes out and he's pissed off that she's crying. And he's just a really, really horrible human being. I mean, can you believe how bad he looked that she was experiencing human emotions?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's an inconvenience to him.
Yeah, that's true. I love that June basically says back the lines that Moira said to her, and I think it was episode 4 about don't letting them grind you down, get your shit together. I like that there's this consistent theme throughout the show of like sometimes, you know, one person is strong and then the other person's weak, and then it kind of like ebbs and flows, and just having that like drawing that strength from friends, from female friends. I really like that theme.
I like it.
I do too. I love it.
So then in the car on the way home, she looks really pretty, by the way, but she's also really sad looking out the window. And the car license plate is 529-393. Matthew 529 is the part about if your right eye causes you to stumble, gouge it out and throw it away. It's better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to be thrown into hell. Anyway, I think the commander's cars probably are relevant to Bible quotes.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then you get back and Serena's waiting up for him because of what Rita said, I'm sure. And you can tell she knows what's going on, and he tells her to go to bed. She looks kind of hurt, but she goes. And June goes to bed remembering better times with Moira and Hannah and Luke, and wakes up to Serena like shaking the shit out of her and telling her to get dressed. And then they race to the bridge where Janine is holding her baby on the bridge about to jump. And they sent for June because, you know, they know that she's the closest to them. And Warren's trying to talk Janine down, and they're lying to her and saying, you can move into the house with us. And Janine reveals, you know, she's like, you're a liar. And she reveals that he promised that he'd run off with her and that he loved her and that she was giving him blowjobs and things that Naomi wouldn't do. And Naomi looks shocked. Like, I guess this is news to her and also to everybody that's there. And I think she's like, I don't know, she moves to like, she yells, all right, that's enough to Janine, just getting embarrassed. But then Lydia tells June to go, like, please save the baby and go talk to Janine. And Fred gets Warren to step back. And it's a very sad scene. And also you can see Nick in the background looking like very worried.
Yeah.
Like another handmaid on the brink of suicide.
Right. Yeah.
Sad. Like, it seems to be a trend here. So it's already weighing on his mind. Yeah.
Also,
Here's
another commander who did outrageous things with her handmaid.
The same pattern every time, and nobody's changing anything.
Also, maybe I thought like, okay, well, this could also be June, maybe. Like, he got scared. Like, oh my God, when she's getting pregnant, when she needs to give up our baby, like, what will she do?
Right.
Like,
he knows her. She doesn't she doesn't take things lying down. So yes.
Yeah.
And it's probably kind of proud of her, knowing that they're sending her in here and she's probably gonna succeed, you know.
If she wouldn't have succeeded, I mean, she would have gotten punished. So that I also, every time I see that scene, I think that like if Janine would have jumped with the baby, they would have punished June for it. They would have blamed her for it. So
probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So June goes out there and Janine says, they all think I'm crazy. And June says, I know you're not crazy. And it's a wonder we're not all crazy in this place.
Yeah.
Change is coming. There's hope. All of this, it's going to be over one day and everything's going to go back to normal. And we're going to go out drinking, you and me. And Janine's like, and Moira and Alma, can we do karaoke? Whatever you want. We're going to get hammered, go dancing, watch the sun come up. And it's so cute. And you just want this moment to happen for them one day, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And then how sad for her to go, nobody will want to dance with me.
No, that was
and you can kind of see Lydia like, gosh, I really did wreck you, didn't I? You know, she just finally gets it. Like, gosh, poor thing.
It's sad that like, at first June was trying to like connect with her and like kind of give her something positive to look forward to. And then once she realizes that she's like, no one wants to dance with me, then she uses a different tactic. Like,
it's not gonna,
and you can see that when Janine says, oh, come with me, it'll only hurt, for a second. You can see that June is like actually considering it. Like, I mean,
who wouldn't?
Yeah, who
she
wouldn't?
pauses.
Yeah.
I thought about that what was June thinking about? I mean, of course she thought about Hannah. This was the reason she said, then no, I can't do this, is I want to be here for my daughter. But I also circled back to the moment where she said, yeah, I found some happiness here. It was her turning point. So maybe she would have done it before that, but now no way.
Well, even in the book, she says at some point, I don't want to escape anymore. I want to stay here and be mad where I can get at him.
So, in the book, it was clear that her reason for not wanting to escape was because she wanted to be near Nick. And then, so it's clear.
So but also they just broke up.
So she's mad at him. So maybe.
She might have jumped it if Nick wasn't in her life, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Where can we talk about things that were in the script but were written off? Is it here or later? Okay, because normally she would have been back at Nick's after the Jezebel visit. So I wondered if she was not that down anymore because of that, because she was back with him. But
after the second Jezebel's visit, so after this one, she went back to him.
Yeah,
just remind me.
She went back to him. She went back to him, and you see her. We would have get to see her in his bathroom and wiping her face off from the makeup.
That's right. That was that scene.
Yeah, and I really would have loved that. Yeah.
I want to see that so bad.
So sad they cut that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe they were trying to have them back together already.
Right.
So then she wouldn't be that down.
That's interesting. Yeah. I'm so sad that scene was cut. I would like to see her taking her makeup off at his apartment. Because she doesn't need makeup with him. Okay. And then June switches tactics and focuses on the daughter. Like you can't do this to your daughter. You've got to give her a chance to grow up. And Janine gets it. And she like looks at her baby and says, I love you, and gets down and hands her to June and says, make sure she knows, or she says, I love you, make sure she knows that, June, please. And she kisses her on the head, which is adorable. And then like kind of shockingly just says bye and jumps. Yeah. And then
she was just at peace with that moment because she's just like, bye. And if you watch her go down, she's like, almost has like the smile on her face. Like, I'm free.
Batshit like, crazy Janine, but no.
Like she even went out like that. Yeah.
I love her. God, she's so unpredictable. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Yeah. And then everybody like runs to the edge to watch, see if she's okay. Yeah. There's a boat there already, which makes sense since it's been going on for a while. Mm-hmm. And Serena manages, I don't know if you guys noticed, but she manages the real death glare at Warren after Janine jumped before she goes to the baby.
Warren looks only slightly guilty in that moment. He looks like, oh shit, what did I do?
He's about to get
like Naomi. She doesn't care. She just like runs to June and grabs Charlotte out of
the baby.
arms. Yeah.
Did you see that? I mean, it was really blurry and stuff, but Nick is seen that he's running towards the bridge point where you can look down, and then he's running to the car, and I was thinking, like, is he going to go down and help? Because why would he run away suddenly?
I didn't see him run to the car.
Yeah, and then I was thinking about him. Yeah, and then I was thinking about the other handmaid situation he was in. So he would have probably been totally horrified and like thinking back to this and trying to save her or something like this. So yeah, it's horrible.
I'm gonna go back and zoom in on that. And then Naomi takes the baby from June. Everybody leaves June just like standing there alone on the bridge. Like, totally shell shocked, right? Like one of her best friends has just killed herself as far as she's concerned. Ugh, what a life. And then it flashes to the hospital though to show us Janine's not dead, and Lydia calls her stupid girl. I'm actually surprised they showed us so quickly that Janine wasn't dead. That's not a common TV show thing. Usually you wait an episode.
Yeah.
Nice relief that we know immediately she's okay.
The episode's called The Bridge. Obviously this happens in a bridge, and that's where we see June telling her change is coming. And usually that's what a bridge, symbolizes.
Right. The transition.
Yeah.
From one place to the next. Yeah.
Then it switches to Warren being taken away. Serena and Naomi start bickering, and Naomi tells her to focus on her own husband. We all know what happened with your first handmaid. Men don't change. And Serena goes home in like a rage and breaks into his office. Then we go to June at the butcher. Still seems just kind of like shell-shocked from everything that happened. And he says, I got a special cut for Commander Waterford today. And then he gives her 2 packages, which she immediately recognizes is not normal. It almost seems like she knows what it is, and said, saved it for you special, peace be with you. And where does she open it? She doesn't even wait to get home to open it. Where does she go?
Like, just right outside. It's
so weird.
It's so dangerous. Yeah. But the guy looks so kind. I was really shocked that there is a man, another man than Nick, looking out for the girls.
Yes, he does.
It just goes to show that there are good men in Gilead. Not everybody is
I'm glad it was a man.
Yes.
It's nice to see. But yeah,
there are helpers.
She's clearly I always liked that quote, look for the helpers, in emergency. I don't know. She's clearly new to this rebellion thing, because you shouldn't open that package. Get home, and it's a note from Moira that says, praise be bitch, here's your damn package.
Yay.
XOXO Moira. I know, how great is that moment?
So fucking
Moira's
great
back. Yeah, exactly. I was psyched. And it flashes to Moira and some guy yelling, Ruby, what's taking so long? And she says, hang on, sugar, I'll be right there. And picks up what I don't even know what that thing is. I just picture it being
a shiv. The toilet shiv.
Yeah,
you've never been in jail, Kate?
No, that's what I was gonna say. I don't know what it's called, but I picture it being baked into a cake and taken to like somebody in prison.
Oh, really?
That's just like what I picture when I see it. Like coming
now, I feel like I need to like learn how to make like a shiv out of like toilet stuff in case I'm ever in a bad situation.
Everybody, bring your shivs to the next recording.
Yeah. I can't. Ours is in the wall. I need to a wall if I want to go there.
You're gonna have to find a way, Yulia.
Yeah.
And then she's dressed as a guardian with like blood on her hand, and she drives out of there. So yay for Moira being back. Otherwise, a fairly depressing episode.
Yeah. Is it common that guardians can also frequent Jezebels?
I don't know that they can as users.
No.
Oh, because she
he was in a guardian uniform.
Yeah. Right. And she also drove away well, there was no commander there.
Yeah.
So probably the guy, like she called Sugar, was a guardian. So.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know.
Yeah, probably depends on how high you are as a guardian.
That you
have more free.
Yeah. I still can't imagine her driving straight out of the country.
Yeah, it's also like
either, but whatever. Hey,
no.
Like they went through 5 or 6 checkpoints to go there, but Moira alone can just go straight.
I mean, she's in Boston. That's pretty far from the border. Yeah, that's not Maine. But it's all good. It's all good.
Didn't she talk to June in the past episode about the female underground thingamajiggy? Maybe she went there after she escaped Jezebel's and they helped her move.
Maybe.
Yeah, it could be. We just
Totally
don't see
realistic.
everything.
Totally.
Yeah.
Don't see everything.
Okay, so I think that's a wrap on our spoiler-free analysis of season 1, episode 9 of The Handmaid's Tale. And if you are a longtime fan, come check us out on Wednesday when we release the deep dive into this episode. If you are a new fan, we'll see you next Monday when we discuss season 1, episode 10. Thanks for listening to Above the Garage. Bye.
You know, I think about us, the three of us, what we could be. I think about it all the time.
Please. It's terrible.
No, it's not. I know June. She's my friend. I care about her. How's your day going? You look pretty.
Thanks. I wore it just for you. Her father's a driver named Nick. He helped me to survive. Yes, you can, because I can't lose you.
I'm not gonna let anything happen to you.
What about you?
Your girlfriend is a badass.